Tonight for the August 25th, 2016 meeting of the East Fishkill Town Board. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a few announcements for tonight. Last month, a constituent asked about information on the Zika virus. I have contacted the Dutchess County Department of Health, the Beacon office, and they have provided a special information line that you can call them and they'll connect you to. There's 3 different lines on different subjects. Also, Dutchess County has posted a website with information on Zika, as has the New York State Department of Health. So I think they were a little slow getting it out there, but there is information out there on the Zika virus, which I know has a lot of people concerned. Before we get too far, I do want to thank a couple people. I'd like to thank one of our local business people, Stephen Amendola, who donated $800 to our police department for the purchase of bulletproof vests. Stephen Amendola's a local businessman, been here for many, many years, and he's really committed to the community, and we'd like to thank Mr. Amendola for that donation. That really helps us, it keeps our police people safe. Speaking of that, I'd also like to thank New York State Senator Sue Serino. Sue has actually provided funding, $18,000 worth of funding for the police to buy new equipment, and that's very much appreciated. And one thing I'd like to say about Sue, she really is very good. Sue's been very helpful, getting additional funds for Julie Shungle, getting additional funds for Hillside Lake, and now she's provided additional funds for our police department and their equipment. So I got to tell you, I thank Sue Serino. She's always there when we need her, and she's turned out, she's a very good friend of East Fishkill. So I'd just like to mention that. For the people in the Hopewell Precision Superfund site, we did have a meeting with the EPA not too long ago, and the design of the water system to provide water for that system is 100% complete. It has been submitted. Hopefully we'll hear whether that project's going to be approved by the congressional, they have a congressional committee on Superfund sites. We're hopeful to hear if we get approved by the end of September. And with that being said, one thing I did want to point out, and it was brought to my attention that some of our constituents had reached out to one of our town board members, unhappy with how the Lake Walton project was carried out over the last couple of years. And one thing I would like to point out, I'm very proud of how the Lake Walton project went out the last couple of years. Lake Walton is a very large road. It's a large road. It's a very well-traveled road. And when we looked at doing it 2-3 years ago with then Highway Superintendent Dennis Miller and town engineer Scott Bryant, they looked at it, and Scott said, look, we need to do some test bores. We did core bores along the length of Lake Walton Road to see what kind of a base we had. And we did, because it was such an expensive road and it would have taken up pretty much all of our budget, what we did is we did core bores, and then we milled and removed the blacktop and the spots where we had to relay new base, and then we topped it over again the following year. I got to say, the fact that we did it that way, unfortunately, I'm finding some people critical of it, was really the way it should have been done. It was an efficient way to do it. We know we have a good base. I don't think we saved too much money, but just the fact we did it the way we did it, it was a much more efficient job, and we have a much better product. So I'm very happy, and it started with our former Highway Superintendent, Dennis Miller, working with our town engineer, Scott Bryant, and then our new Highway Superintendent, Bill McClellan, was involved with the second phase, and I gotta tell you, I know a couple people may be critical of it, but believe me, this is the way to go. And actually, we're looking at other roads now, doing the milling and repaving. So I got to tell you, instead of just putting coat after coat after coat, we're really building some very good roads, and I'm very proud of the systems that we put into place. So that being said, we come down to roll call. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Marinaro?
Present.
Councilman D'Alessandro?
Present.
Councilman Cassidy?
Present.
Councilman Franco?
Present.
Supervisor Hickman?
Present. Thank you, Madam Clerk. The minutes have been submitted to the town board for July 28, 2016. Madam Clerk, have there been any modifications or alterations to those minutes?
No, there has not.
That being said, do I have a motion from the town board to approve the minutes of July 28, 2016?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Under receipt and file, we have received the draft map plan and report on the Route 52 Commercial Water Improvement Area. This is an improvement area that we're going to be utilizing in the redevelopment of the Global Foundries site. And our town engineer is not with us this evening. He's provided a draft map plan and report for everybody. I believe we had scheduled a public hearing for tonight. Unfortunately, with the engineer not being here, I would like to consider if the board would be okay. Madam Clerk, could we schedule the public hearing for the next meeting, for the meeting in September? All right, and I'd ask the attorney, the map plan and report probably isn't sufficient for the next meeting. I'm sure we'll have to take a look at it, take a look at the draft, and we'll make sure we have that completed. But everybody has a draft of it, and I think that this is very important to our ongoing efforts for redevelopment of the Global Foundries and the Route 52 corridor. So we'll do that. So under receipt and file, everybody has received their map plan report, and that's under receipt. That will be received and filed by the town clerk. All right, next on the agenda is public comments on agenda items only. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on agenda items?
I have Tom, if I may.
Sure.
Is it possible for the community to, I know that permissive referendum, so that the community knows what that entails and what is it all about?
It'll be posted on the website.
No, actually, the
What's that?
process itself, I mean.
Oh, just generally speaking?
Yeah.
Certain actions of the town board, by law, the state legislature has indicated that they're subject to permissive referendum. When that language is in the law, what that means when the town board votes on an item covered by that law, the town clerk has to post a copy of it and must publish a notice in the official newspaper of the town indicating that this resolution was adopted on such a date subject to permissive referendum. The citizens then have a period of up to 30 days from the date of the adoption of the resolution to gather a petition, which would have to be signed, I believe it's 20%, by the number of people, 20% of the people voted in the last gubernatorial election in the town of East Fishkill. If a petition with the sufficient signatures is then filed with the town clerk within 30 days, then within 60 days, the town board must schedule a referendum or a vote of the people on whatever resolution was subject to it. It generally applies to the purchase or sale of property by a town and certain limited other actions.
Now, Tom, to that point, this being for a water district or applied to a sewer district, it would be...
A water improvement area is not subject under the law to permissive referendum.
Okay.
An establishment of a water or sewer district is subject to permissive referendum, but only by the parties within the district.
In the district?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, anybody in the audience to speak on agenda items only? All righty, there being none, tonight we have a public hearing to consider allowing transitional business uses by special permit in the Hopewell Hamlet area. This had been referred to the planning board. The planning board has responded to the town board with their comments, and our planner had put things together. She had taken the comments and she had put them together, included them in a draft local law number 3 of 2016, a local law to allow transitional business uses by special permit to buffer industrial zones from residential zones within the town of East Fishkill. And what happens with a lot of the older zoning, a lot of the areas in town, we have a lot of the older houses, it's a little bit odd, but number one, you may have a house in an industrial zone, or you might have a house right next to an operating business in an industrial zone. So this is proposed, I believe the intent is to
You want to open?
buffer that a little bit. Well, just give me a little
Oh,
explanation. I
sorry,
will open
I
it.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Supervisor.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the local law that's before us. So with that, do I have a motion to open the public hearing to consider allowing the transitional business uses by special permit in Hopewell Hamlet area?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Public hearing is now open. Anybody here to speak on the transitional business, local law to allow transitional business uses by special permit in the town of East Fishkill? Anybody at all in the audience? Anybody on the board would like to make any questions, any comments, or any questions on the local law before us? In my mind, it just makes a lot of sense for a lot of the older sections of the town like that.
Yeah, I have just a comment that I also agree with the supervisor that it makes a lot of sense, and we should maybe start to look at more areas like this in the hamlet, and like the planning board gave also a recommendation for the long term to consider a more comprehensive rezoning effort. And I know we've whispered about, master plan things, and you don't like to talk about that too much.
Huge
Attorney,
project.
but-
We should be
Yeah,
taking
but,
on pretty soon, though.
Something, yeah, we should look about where the town is going to be growing, and we should look to the future, so.
Well, Councilman, actually, it's a very good point, and I think one of the things, if we didn't want to do an entire master plan, maybe just to concentrate on the Hamlet area.
I think that's a great idea.
Because we do have businesses there, we do have areas that we would really like to see redeveloped. I mean, we've talked about putting housing on top of the commercial businesses along Route 82, and working with the business owners to put up new fascia, to just redo the hamlet. And I think that's a very good idea. That'd be something really a good, I don't know, my point is, I don't think we need to do a whole master plan, but maybe we could concentrate first on the hamlet,
Right.
which we'd like to see get redeveloped.
Revitalization.
Yeah, revitalization plan, and that's a very good idea. DOT has been coming and talking to us every, 6-9 months about redoing Route 82, because I believe when we did, with the approval for the Toll Brothers subdivision, they wanted certain changes made to Route 82 and Fishkill Road, and that has progressed. So this whole thing may be coming together in the next few years. I know they're short of funding. And bottom line is
Have the
DOT
money,
is short
right.
of funding, but certainly something like this, and with a vision towards how the hamlet should look, I think that's probably a very good idea. So no, I think that's something we should look into, definitely. Maybe we could put together a small committee to look at the Hopewell Hamlet master plan. And we'll talk about that further. And also, I would like to point out, we do have another item on the agenda, number 5, to authorize a referral to the planning board of a rezone application submitted by an oddly named corporation down on Route 82. And if you review the application that we're going to be submitting to the planning board, it's one of those many properties that the town of East Fishkill has that, when they did zoning many years ago, and they went down the state highways, they said, okay, this far back on the property is commercial. And that would leave like a little tail or something, that part of that's residential.
Right.
Instead of doing it by parcel or what have you. So again, I think we're looking to clean up some of these things of the past. So, and that, I think, is kind of what the transitional business use law will do. So, what I'd like to do right now, well, back to the transition, but I'd like to talk to you further, Councilman D'Alessandro, about the Hopewell Hamlet redevelopment project. And this would be like a several-year project. And if there's any funding out there for such a thing, maybe we can put something together for next year and actually get a committee working on this.
Sounds good.
I think that's a great idea.
So
Anyway, yes.
John, which part of the town actually are we talking about over here? Is there a specific?
This
area?
one's specific to the hamlet.
Okay,
there's
but
cer-
it says commercial, that is probably one piece that attaches that commercial area with it.
Yeah,
Or
actually.
industrial.
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 Yeah, because that was all the old railroad part of town, and people even over there, there's people over there, and one whole strip is industrial. But it was built, it's industrially zoned, but it's residential use. So it really does create kind of a conflict.
And the hamlet would be, in the zoning ordinance, Hopewell Hamlet is defined from Palin Road to Cloak Branch Road, and from approximately the Town Hall to 82. So this would be, if you will, an experiment within that area, because you do have many industrial zones surrounded by housing and things like that. So the planner thought that would be a good way of seeing how it works. It only allows, not retail, it only allows like light office use, things like that. So it's, as the name says, transitional, to go from
Yes.
hard industrial,
Yeah.
and then on the other side of the street, residential.
Yeah, you wouldn't be
So
putting a McDonald's right in
Right,
between the
right,
two.
Right.
It'd be something that would kind of fit in with the neighborhood activities.
But we will allow the existing business to still be open.
Oh, yeah, this,
there's no-
there would have to be an
Absolutely.
application by the property owner to ask for this. It would go through a public hearing process with the planning board as part of site plan review. Everybody around it would be notified of it, so it's, yeah, it's not forced on anyone, and doesn't happen without everybody knowing.
Okay, everybody satisfied?
Yes.
Manny, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that was a good explanation. Again, I think everybody can kind of see what we're trying to accomplish with this. So, that being said, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. The public hearing is now closed. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote. And do I have a motion to adopt the negative declaration and adopt this zoning amendment as we call, I lost it, the local law to allow transitional business uses by special permit?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Councilperson Marinaro?
Yeah.
Councilperson D'Alessandro?
Yes?
Councilperson Cassidy?
I'm going to recuse myself because this property is in the vicinity of our family business.
Councilperson Franco?
Aye.
Supervisor Hickman?
Aye. Thank you, Madam Clerk. 4 ayes and 1 recusal or 1 abstention. The zoning amendment passes. Thank you very much.
It's the same.
Same thing.
All right, now we move to resolutions. The first resolution is to appoint full-time building inspector. And just for a little background, we had hired a gentleman, Max Deo, quite a few months ago, and he'd been working for us on a part-time basis. We have a very good letter of commendation from the building department requesting that he be hired full-time. He is civil service, and he is on the civil service list that has been provided to the town of East Fishkill. So that being said, Councilman Cassidy, would you read resolution number 1?
Whereas a vacancy for a full-time building inspector exists in the building department, and whereas the civil service list has been received by the town and a current part-time employee is reachable for appointment, now therefore be it resolved that the town board does hereby appoint Max Deo to the position of full-time building inspector in the building department from the civil service list, and be it further resolved that said employees shall serve the required probationary period as set forth in the civil service law.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I have a motion to appoint Max Dale, full-time building inspector for the town of East Fishkill?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor respond by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations to Max Dale. And just for my 2 cents, if you will, Max has been working with us. He's really just a part of the team, and it's been really a pleasure having him. So congratulations, Max. Thank you very much. All right, resolution number 2 is to authorize assessors training. Whereas the town assessor has advised the town supervisor, that being myself, that in order to remain certified by New York State Assessors Association, she must attend annual training programs. And whereas a training program is available for her to attend in Lake George, New York from September 18th to September 21st, it is the desire of the town board to authorize the supervisor to approve said travel, this being an overnight stay. Now therefore be it resolved, the supervisor being hereby is authorized in accordance with Section 77B of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York to authorize the assessor to attend the training program sponsored by New York State Assessors Association to be held out of the area requiring overnight stay. Be it further resolved that all reasonable and necessary expenses incurred by the assessor may be approved by the supervisor for reimbursement from the town. And it would be for a 3-night stay out there. And I know our assessor, Kathy Martin, some of the classes you can be taking, current legal issues, reviewing income and expense statements, reading deeds, and a couple more of that nature. So I think, number one, she needs credits. And I tell you, the New York State Assessors Association, very good about keeping our assessors educated and up to date. So that being said, I don't believe, and I don't want to give a dollar amount, but knowing the cost to attend the sessions is $175. I believe that each night in the hotel is $245, and I'm not sure if she's going to be driving her own car. There might be some traveling expenses. I don't believe the whole session should cost more than $1,200. So I'd like to authorize the travel and training for our town assessor. So do I have a motion to authorize that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
John, I got a question.
Just let me get my second.
Second.
Go ahead.
All right, any discussion? That's what I was going to say. Any discussion?
Yeah, some of these are going to be shared by the other town, or we are absorbing every.
Oh, good
whole
point, good point. Actually, I hadn't thought of that, Manny. That's a very good point.
Yeah, we can
We'll apportion some of
Yeah,
it to the city of Beacon, whom we share with.
Okay. Pay,
reallocate
20%.
something like
Yes.
20% or so
Yeah.
to the
Yep.
shared
Good point.
assessor program.
All righty, very good. Anybody else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Number 3 is to authorize the release of the bond for Julie's Jungle upon receipt of the maintenance bond. Councilman Franco, would you read the resolution?
Sure. Whereas the playground at Lime Kiln Park Phase 1 has been built and the contract has been satisfied, whereas the town board has received a request for the release of the performance bond, and now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized to release the performance bond with Hudson Insurance Group on behalf of Playworld Systems and accept a maintenance bond for 1 year with Hudson Insurance Group on behalf of Playworld Systems. Performance bond will be released upon the receipt of the maintenance bond.
And Tom, this is typically how they do it. When they do a bond, they do a project, you'll set
Yes, when
performance
it's
bond.
the contract for the bid said performance bond, and then when that's released, it's a 1 or 2 year maintenance bond in accordance with the contract.
Okay, and we're hopeful to receive the further funding from Dutchess County Senator Sereno's office, so we'll be moving into Phase 2 at some point and completing the whole
That's
project.
because while this was somewhat privately funded, it is on municipal property, and it was funded by county and town funds, so it's a town project.
Yes, mainly town and county funds, so.
Right.
Yes, this is a town project, and this is a town recreation facility, one we're very proud of. So, that being said, do I have a motion to authorize the release of a bond and to request a furnishing of a maintenance bond?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Councilman D'Alessandro, would you read resolution number 4, please?
Refer a rezoning application to the Town Planning Board in Dutchess County Planning. Whereas iTooth Corporation has filed an application requesting a rezone of the property grid number stated here. Whereas upon following of the petition with the town clerk and payment of the requisite fees, the matter is now before the town board. And the town board has determined that it is appropriate to refer this matter to the planning board to review. And it is the desire of the town board to make said referral. Now therefore be it resolved that the rezoning application from iTooth Corporation filed with the town clerk be and hereby is referred to the planning board for its review and comment, and that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to refer said petition to the planning board and Dutchess County Planning.
Thank you, Councilman. Excuse me, again, this is one of those properties, as I said, was owned commercial, and just so many feet in from the state highway, and the rest, the little piece left over was residential. And we did one of these last year, so, again, on Route 82. So do I have a motion to refer this rezoning request to the Town Planning Board and Dutchess County Planning for their consideration?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Let's see, budget transfers. I do not believe we have any budget transfers tonight. We have a moment, well, next on the agenda, to take public comments on general town issues. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on general town issues? Okay, being done, comments from town board members. Is anybody on the town board, any comments they'd like to be making? Please feel free. Somebody?
Just a reminder, Community Day, September 17th. Applications are out there now for the parade and for booths. Parade starts at 11:30. Route 82 will be closed from 11:30 to 12:15. And then it'll be followed from 12:30 to 4:30 up at the fields for different groups and civic organizations and just for the community getting together.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Any comments from any of the town board members?
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. It's hard to believe the end of summer's almost here. This year just flew by. We've been extremely busy doing a number of things. One of the major things being the redevelopment of the Global Foundries parcel, and hopefully the Dome will continue their construction. That's the biggest pile of dirt I've ever seen in my life, and I know they have a plan to use it somewhere. But we're happy to see the Dome being built, and a lot of good things happening. It's taken a lot of work to get to these places. One of them will be the formation of the Water District, hopefully next month. So I tell you what, town's going very well, but it's budget time. It's very tight, and I will tell the town board there's a couple budget matters I'd like to discuss at the workshop in September. I think it's a good time that we can sit down and chat about them a little bit. So, any other comments? That being the case, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. The next workshop meeting is September 8th, and the next meeting is September 22nd. Thank you very much.